Okay, now for the actual 4.0.2 notes. For this lesson, it's going to be very similar. We're going to do almost the same steps we did before, but it's going to have an extra thing at the end. So I'm going to start with GCF first this time. So I'll look at my numbers and I see what they have in common, or kind of breaking down using the GCF notes that we did earlier in the video. So for my first term, I have 3 times x times x. For my middle term, I have 7 times x. And for my last one, I have 2 times 3. And we check, do they have something in common? Well, these two have x's, but not here. These two have 3's, but not here. So it looks like there's nothing that they have in common. And then I go to my next step. Do I have standard form? If not, I need to make it standard form. Well, standard form looks at your exponents to be getting smaller. Here I have exponent of 2, then 1, and then nothing. So they are getting smaller. That means I do have standard form. Now I can move out to the X puzzle. For the X puzzle, I use my A, B, and C, where my addic is A times C. My addic is on top, and it's A times C. And I think there's a typo here. I think this is supposed to be -6. I'm going to change it real quick. It's -18. And the reason for that is because since my basement is -7, I need to find 2 numbers that multiply to -18 and add up to -7. It was not going to work out with +18. So for these 2 numbers, here's how I would love for you to do it. Especially if you're not good with multiplying, you focus on the top number. Focus on that -18. This is where we did the rectangles, the little bingo chips and stuff. So you look at the 18 and you try to figure out how many rectangles can I make with 18 chips. There was the obvious one, that's 1 and 18. Hopefully you got to 2 and 9, and then 3 and 6. If you don't remember the bingo chips or you didn't do it, that's fine. The other thing you can look at is, so I can pull it out. Where'd it go? This, the multiplication table. On the multiplication table, you look for the 18 here, here, and here. And so it tells you this 18 is 6 by 3. This one is 9 by 2. And this one is 18 by 1. So those are the numbers I have written down here, because those are numbers I'm going to try to use. So let's see how we can use those numbers. I need to see which one, and I think I messed up this. I'm going to see which one adds up to my, let me fix that real quick. I'm going to see which one adds up to my basement, which is -7. There it goes. Which one adds up to -7. So with my 1 and 18, if I change the sign of one of them, because I need -18, if I change the sign here, I get -17, or not -17, +17, which is nowhere near the -7 that I need. So it looks like that those numbers are just not going to be useful. So now I'll move on to the 2 and the 9, and you would always guess and check. Like, my best advice is you guess and check, because I can tell you the rules, but if I give you too many rules, it's going to suck to remember them. So instead, we're going to guess and check. Let's guess that the 2 is negative and the 9 is positive. -2 plus 9 gives you +7, which is the number that I need, but not the right sign. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play with my signs, and I'm going to switch them. And that means now I'm going to try making the 2 positive and the 9 negative. 2 minus 9 is -7, and that works. So that's how we can try and guess and check until you get your answer. Please do not be afraid to guess and check until you get your answer. It works 100% of the time, and it's better than you remembering a lot of rules. Now from here, we're going to do something called divide and slide. It works just like... we set it up just like before. We put our answers in parentheses. But then we're going to divide and slide by the A value. Always the A. Whatever your A was, that's what we use. So A was 3. So we're going to divide by 3. Notice here, 2 divided by 3 doesn't work. We don't get a whole number. And we don't want decimals. So that 3 is going to slide in front of the X. like that. Here it does work. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So there's my answer. 3x plus 2 and x minus 3 equals 0 is my answer. Now we're going to do it again. We're going to try it with the next problem. We're going to break down. This is just x. This is 2 and 3. So there's no common letter. There's no common number. There's no GCF. And then we do standard form, which it looks like it already is. So I'm going to do A is 2, B is -1, C is -6. There's a negative right here in front of the x, and that's my B value. So when I set it up, it's -12, -1. And you would do the factor tree, what numbers multiply for 12, like 1 and 12, 3 and 4, 6 and 2. And then you play with the negative signs until you find which one gives you the -1 for this question. In this case, it will be -4, +3. I'm going to put that in parentheses, x minus 4, x plus 3. And again, we divide and slide always, 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 always by the A value. Here it divides. Here it slides. If you type in 3 divided by 2 on the calculator, it gives you decimals. If you try to turn it into a fraction, it comes back 3 over 2. So this is what worked for us. And we're going to try a few more questions. Let's try the next one. 4 is 2 times 2 times x times x. 10 is 2 times 5 times x. 6 is 2 times 3. And hopefully you saw the pattern. They all have 2's. And when you take them out, you're left with 2x squared plus 5x minus 3. So I have standard form where the A value is 2, B is 5, C is -3. Added goes on top. That's A times C. Basement goes on the bottom, and you find the two numbers that multiply to -6. So you do the factor tree for -6. But you also have to double check that those numbers also add up to your +5. So I would try 6 and 1, 2 and 3, and you would try with positives and negatives and see which one works. In this case, I think I got 6 with a -1. And we go back to the A value. And we're going to do the same thing over again. And I normally do it on this step. It's okay if you want to do it on that step. Up to you. I would do it here instead. I don't know what works better for me here sometimes. Or it makes more sense for me. I'm just used to it. But it's x plus 3 from here. And then this is the one you're going to swing. So x minus 1/2. Swing the 2 to the front. There's my answer. Equal to 0. For the next question, we're going to do the same thing. Break it down. 2 times x times x. 28 is 2 times 14 with x, but 14 is 2 times 7. This is 2 times 40. 40 is 5 times 8. 8 is 2 times 2 times 2. And it looks like they have a common 2. I'm going to go back a little bit. Let's do it here. I'm not going to go down all this much. Let's stop here because that's where the common 2 comes out. So we have a common 2. X squared, 14x, and a 40. Ooh, that's not what it looks like. There's an equal sign here. 14x and a minus 40, like that. I'm going to fix the standard form on this next step. So my GCF needs to equal to 0. X squared is where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be on the left side. My B value, my X, is on the wrong side. So this 14, when I move it, I change the sign. This 40, when I move it, I change the sign. There's my A, B, C. And you get them all the time from inside of the parentheses. We don't look at the 2 anymore. We don't look back at these anymore. No, no, no. We focus on what's inside of the parentheses. So using that A, B, C, that's 40, negative 14. Numbers that multiply to 40 but add up to negative 14 are negative 10 to negative 4. We're going to put them in parentheses. My A value was 1. And if I try to divide by it, it gives me the same problem back. So my answer for this one, oh, y'all, I forgot the GCF on the previous one. 2 goes right there. Cool. My answer for this one has a GCF of 2, x minus 10, x minus 4. GCF is always part of your answers, y'all. Do not forget your GCF like I did. GCFs are important. They're part of your answer. Okay. Last question, I have 6, which is 2 times 3 times k times k. 10 is 2 times 5 times k. 50 is 2 times 25. 25 is 5 times 5. So it looks like we have a common 2. So when I take out the 2, I have 3k squared minus 5k. This is gone, so this is 25. Where this is A, B, and C. Set up the X puzzle. 75 and negative 5. And so you look for 75 on your multiplication table. You can get 75 by multiplying 25 times 3. You can also get it by multiplying 1 times 75 and 5 times 15. And you can try all of those variations, but nothing's going to work because this problem is not factorable, which can happen on your practice. So if you have all the right numbers and they don't work, they don't give you the negative 5, it's fine. You probably did it right. It's just not factorable, y'all.